primary ignition.
This is Star Wars.
Look out!
Core World News.
You may fire when ready.
From the bright center of the galaxy, I'm Grex Kondak, and you're listening to Core World News, your whole-net news service providing in-depth coverage of all the latest stories from around the galaxy. Now, the news segment rundown for August 14th, 2022. Kyber Crystal Comics Corner. But first, this news.
All right, thank you very much, Grex. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Core World News. Adam, how you doing in your orange shirt today? How are things?
Yeah. Good. Just, living a life down here.
Grant, how are you in your boring black shirt?
I'm a little scorched from the binary suns, but I'm
Nice.
going to get through this podcast. The force is with me.
That's nice.
Oh.
Nice way to endure. What would Cassian Andor do? Speaking of, we got some news this week. Well, let's talk about the news a little bit. I just found out that Rogue One, they're going to put it in the theaters in the IMAX on August 26th. How about that? You guys excited about seeing Rogue One on the big screen again?
Yeah, seeing the Death Star, assault on Jeddah, seeing that attack, IMAX. Ooh, that's going to be a good time. So I can't wait to go back and check it out.
Yeah, I need to see it again in the theater. I saw it twice in the theater, I think, when it came out. It's one of my lowest number of Star Wars viewings. And the first one really threw me, the first viewing, because there was no crawl. And it's just like, it almost like made me jump in my seat. Like when it just does that thump and you're suddenly in the action. And that movie is a travelogue movie where it's just like, now you're here. And there's like, it's the first one, I think, where they actually have titles of the planets. So like a lot of my Star Wars or first viewings of Star Wars movies.
Yeah, Lamu. I think you're talking about.
Yeah, Lamu. Yep.
I just reread Catalyst too, so it's all fresh in my mind, and I would love to jump into this movie. But Andor again takes place before that, and so Catalyst. There's stories that it actually starts during the Clone Wars, and so I just can't wait for Andor because it's going to fill that pocket of time.
Fill that blank.
He's the most interesting, span in the timeline. It's just the rise of the Empire is a terrifying thing, and to see the people surviving in the corners of the galaxy is like I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I couldn't be any more excited for that show. It's gonna look and feel entirely different and be great. I always really liked Rogue One. I did read Catalyst right before I saw the movie, so I had like when they went to see Galen Erso's place, I was like, okay, that makes sense because it, you see that coming. But I always think that Rogue One is like a movie that starts off really kind of slow and small, and then just explodes, just like gets logarithmically faster. But I've grown to love that sort of like slow play in because I love new biomes and new horizons, and like the fact that they jump around like the rings of Kafrene, one of my favorites. That feels like Star Wars to me. It's like, okay, we're gonna go to an asteroid station, we're gonna go to this weird planet, and then go to this other space station, and like that makes me feel really happy and feel like I'm in Star Wars. And I think it's a great way to start a film.
And I am 100% there now, and that's why I really want to see it in the theater. But I'll be honest, my first few viewings, I feel like every time I watch Rogue One, I feel like I'm watching a fan film. Like it's something about like it was like no crawl, putting up the names of the planets, quick jumps, and not and like a John Williams score.
I think it gets away with that because of the realism, though. Because I would almost argue that the saga films could feel more fan film at times, given just the sort of like the grandiosity of just the sequences and the action, what's happening. Whereas this feels parsed down, it feels very grounded, it feels realistic, and I think if it had a crawl before it, that might. I don't know. It would.
I think it would feel worse.
Fall into
not
space
worse,
opera category.
Yeah, I think it would feel weird. And I like the semi crawl they do in Solo. I think that's a fun take on it, and I think it fits in that film. But I think Rogue One shouldn't have a crawl. I'm glad it doesn't have it. All these things that I mentioned.
Rogue One is a crawl.
That's right. I mean, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it is. It's
literally the crawl.
It's a 2.5 hour crawl.
Yeah,
and I mean that in a good way. But
they're like prelude.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like then you watch New Hope and you're like, oh yeah, everything I just saw in that movie in the crawl.
Yeah. Well, you read and then A New Hope basically surmises this exact film. So I don't think there's a crawl. The film isn't yet. So there we go.
It is literally the crawl of A New Hope.
So true.
But yeah, I mean, it was a great choice. And that was the first time we got a film that wasn't a saga film. So it was like, I knew things were going to be different, but it same as you, Adam, I was like, I don't know. I'm going to crawl and like, what's going on? It felt a little different, but it didn't take me out of it. I was like, okay, here's all these space stations and like everything looks legit and the acting is amazing.
I always almost, I love the film for what you said, Ben, how it kind of gets bigger. It kind of, it sort of unravels nicely, basically, like, and there's a great ensemble element to the film where it's almost like Seven Samurai or Fellowship of the Ring. Like we're meeting these characters slowly, and we're getting this group together, this ensemble, and it's like it's really fun to watch. I feel like the only thing that like really dragged for me was like it almost felt like the engine of the plot was guiding the film, and I didn't get enough time with the characters. Like the second it slows down with Chirrut, I am like so excited just to like get a little bit of Chirrut and Boz and understand that relationship more. And I just want more with those characters. Like I almost wish Andor could throw in some of those characters at some point, just to like get a little bit more, because they're so fascinating. And you build these multidimensional characters, but it's such a plot based film that it's I don't know, it's tough. It's a great film for what it is. It feels like a great sort of heist, spy film that is fantastic in that manner. But I would have loved more character development, I guess.
Well, I think we're probably going to get that in the show.
I think for sure. And that movie, Rogue One, is for me is just like, it's all based on what I'm feeling like when I'm watching it, because it's either like top third or bottom third of my Star Wars listings, depending on the mood I'm in. And like when I'm in it and it's just hit me right, I love all of that stuff. And Grant, I 100% agree. I think that's part of the reason why I saw it like twice in the theater and then watched it. And I'm like, it's too fast. I don't know who any of these characters are. I don't have any connections with these characters. And then after I watched it like the fourth time, I'm like, I get these characters because the motivations make sense, right? Like it's all there. It's just a driving thing. It's not about the characters. This is not a saga film. We're not gonna, we're not following the life story of Luke Skywalker. We're following the Death Star plans. Like that's really what we're doing. And going to that film kind of knowing, I mean, we all kind of knew it wasn't announced, but we kind of knew these characters probably weren't going to be around after this film. And so, it's one of those things where you just know we're not going to learn more about these characters. We're in it and we're out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the right decision. I think, many screenwriters took a pass on that script and or just came to look at the film, multiple directors, and everyone I think agreed at the end of the day all these characters should die. And I feel like that was the right choice, just given how much the plot kind of reigns over everything in the film. And I feel like they're doing the most heroic action possible, make this, stand, for all of time.
Yeah. And it just gives that extra little bit of whatever to an already perfect film, A New Hope, right? Like it's just this now you just the sacrifice of these people that is like just behind all of the driving force of A New Hope as well.
Yeah. The film just the film for me just could have been longer, and I could have gotten a little bit more Galen and Jyn just earlier in the film. So when we get into that later scene on Jedha, it's like twice as impactful, and you really feel their connection because. Yeah, and after reading Catalyst, it's also like he's like a specter, like in her life, where she doesn't really have like, I don't know, it's not fully formed image of him. It's like he's just kind of
memories, distant memories.
Just a memory, and it's I wish there was a little bit more going on there. That's about
I felt like I was cheating having read the book, because Catalyst it's a beautiful companion to the movie. But it's like, it just marries up perfectly, and I was like, I'm like, do people even know who Galen Erso is? Like. But I guess, it described it there.
Yeah, that's another cool thing is like that's almost another TV series I would love, just that whole special weapons division in the Empire.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like their insignia, like that whole division, that's crazy. Like they're developing Kyber-based weapons, and like, Galen's an expert in the field of Kyber crystals, and it's fascinating. Like that whole stuff is fascinating. Lyra goes to like find Kyber crystals. Like it's so cool. Like their story is awesome, and it's all centered around Kyber crystals, and it's totally outside of the Jedi. I guess they still talk about the Jedi, reference them, but they are two basically scientists. Like it's just a really cool story. So highly recommend Catalyst.
Yeah,
for sure.
So also storytelling. I think this will be a little bit pre Rogue One, but Jedi Survivor, the video game that's coming out possibly next spring. They spotted B1 battle droids as a nemesis, as something that our hero will fight. Cal Kestis.
Makes sense to me. I mean, I'm surprised we don't see more kind of remnant battle droids in the galaxy after the Clone Wars, given there were like an ungodly amount, like 50 million battle droids or something.
Yeah, they said we
like an army. If you
10 to 1
books,
yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of battle droids.
Yeah.
But I mean, who do you think would be like operating battle droids that you'd have to fight? I mean, at this point, we're squarely in the Empire at this point. Like, who do you think's still running battle droids?
I mean, besides Kaiza from Shadow of the Sith that we just read.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but you see like one or two here or there. Like Mr. Bones is cool.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously, Nemoidian.
Oh, is this an official? Like, there's battle droids in the next game? In the next
Yes.
game?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I love that. Maybe a warlord or tyrant, an old separatist, leader of some kind, was general. That war kind of ended in disarray, and separatists had a huge amount of territory, I believe, all the way to the end. They were really just trying to take out the leader, basically Grievous, and there were still separatists, I think, strongholds all over the galaxy. So, Warlord takes over stronghold, activates battle droids.
I'm always gonna go with
the Trade Federation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm always gonna go with Droid Gatra.
Droid Gatra.
Yeah, that's a great idea, honestly.
Great idea.
Because that would add a new flair to the battle droid, which is like maybe an old commander droid. That's actually a fascinating story beat that there's stuff I think in Rebels and definitely in Clone Wars, but I'm talking post Clone Wars, like a commander droid, someone recovering that droid's sort of like I don't know, neural network or whatever, and then using it themselves, to control a bunch of battle droids, and like I could see that being a thing.
Yeah. I also wonder if you're going to be playing more flashbacks than you did in the first one. Because remember, we do have the flashback where it is during Order 66, and we know Cal Kestis is around as a Padawan, right? At that point, or is he just a youngling? I can't remember if he's a Padawan or not. I think he's a Padawan.
Yeah, it'd be tough to retcon that. Yeah, because I think the way they did it in Jedi Fallen Order is that like he was just doing his basic training, and then in that sequence he gets.
That's right. He was just jumping around on blocks.
And like and then right when like his Star Destroyer gets attacked or his master gets attacked.
But we could have flash forwards in terms of flashbacks in terms of what happens after that as he's escaping and like before he becomes just the person who's disassembling ships. Yeah,
that would be pretty interesting. Or a flashback from a different character. Like I mean, I assume I don't know how heavy Cal Kestis this is going to be.
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting point.
But it says Survivor, so I'm wondering if we'll see some more survivors.
Given that the first game had Saw Gerrera, do you think any like crossover with the live action, either Andor series or Obi-Wan is going to happen with any of those characters?
I'd love to see some Obi-Wan there. I think this is still going to be probably 15 years BBY.
It's going to be around the time of the first game, right? Like just a year after that. So
I would assume. And I think that was 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So it's like 14 BBY or something.
17, I think.
17.
I just realized Cal Kestis is not going to be the playable character in this game.
Yeah? I think it's going to be Obi-Wan?
No, I think it's I don't know. I think it's got to be a new Padawan or a new person who has disconnected from the Force and is coming back to it, because just from simple game mechanics, because otherwise they're going to have a weird convoluted reason why Cal Kestis lost all his abilities between these two games, and now you have to build it back up again, right? Because that's how video games work. You just have to. Yeah. So he's not going to be. He's going to be there. He's going to be like, was it Marin?
Marin, yeah.
Marin. It's going to be like Marin. He's going to be part of the crew.
Yeah, but that would be so fun if they did it that way. But yeah, it does make sense. Yeah, I mean, unless they're going to rank Cal up more, but then you get into the problem where it's like, well, if he's so powerful, then what was he doing during A New Hope? And yeah, how come he and Mace Windu are this strong?
Right.
Yeah, I would love to play as Marin and use that like the Night Witch sort of like magic.
I love that character.
Yeah. Yeah,
fun.
that would be fun mechanics too, because you could do all these other fun Force things that may be a little dark.
Yeah, and she could power. That would be where it makes sense that she's powering up as well. So maybe that'd be awesome. I mean, I think we all talked about how much we wish she was playable in the first one. So
yeah, that could be cool. So yeah, it's just an interesting little wrinkle there that means a lot with the B1s. I got a couple more things here. One, I saw that Plagieus is rumored to be an acolyte. We kind of mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but they could be, but they think that there will be a powerful Sith master and acolyte, and it could very well be Plagieus.
I think that makes sense. I think the timing makes sense, right? Because
200 years. Yeah, I mean, he lived for a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's the art house film I want to see. But what I could see happening is just Palpatine. Just maybe Palpatine's first apprentice. I don't know.
But we're still 200 years.
Still too early for that.
Yeah, because we're at the end. We're at the tail end, right, of the High Republic, which leads into the Republic. Yeah. So
I think it's super young Plagueis even then.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be, we don't know. It's timelines are weird or lifelines are weird in Star Wars. So I'm blanking. Is Plagueis a Duros? What's Plagueis?
He's a Munalist.
He's a Munalist. Oh, that's right. I'm so excited. That's right.
He was going by like Hido Damask at this point. I don't think he was going by Plagueis, right? Like he was involved with the Banking Guild, I think.
Yeah. Well, what's exciting?
Did Damask Plagueis, or was that Bane?
Plagueis.
Okay.
Plagueis is a movie.
And then the Sith Bith that trained Plagueis.
Yes.
Tenebrous.
Yeah.
You
always
dude. You don't think I went to all the sequel trilogy films just hoping to see some like dark lore unravel in front of me? I know all that. I love all the Sith stuff.
You're gonna get it.
So good. It's so great. Like it's the other half of the coin. It's terrifying and it's fun when it's there and oppressive.
And they're really starting to play around with that in the expanded universe now, right? Like we got a ton of that in Shadow of the Sith. Like they just name checked all these characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it clearly that Lucasfilm.
Rise of Skywalker takes a pretty dark turn into a really dark territory right away, and it's like here we are, and I'm like. Great. Like it sounds
fascinating.
Of course, it's the shadow of the Empire looming over everyone. Let's get into the shadow, right?
I watched the last. We talked about this before recording. I watched the last hour of Rise of Skywalker on a channel with commercials. After having a long day of having fun. But one thing I did notice when I was watching is like exactly that. I'm like, this movie actually gives us the most time with Sith lore out of any Star Wars.
Yeah, we like luxuriate in all of this new Sith lore. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot to develop in one film, which is like the Sith Eternal. Exegol is the homeworld of the Sith.
Right,
What's crazy is we see the homeworld of the Sith and Exegol and all this stuff with just a singular Sith Lord in charge and like an amphitheater of acolytes and some really cool actually Sith guards in the background. If you pay close attention in Rise of Skywalker,
I know
the guards in that film, I actually really
but,
like the design of that guard uniform, the trooper uniform. It's really cool. All the production design, everything there is great, but you almost wonder what it's like when it was like teaming with Sith, or if there are other reigns of other Sith lords. Like it's just it invokes so many questions, and so I hope we get there. I hope Acolyte's a great doorway to like a threshold to all of that stuff.
I hope so. All I know is I'm really excited for it because it's going to give us as a podcast a reason / directive or excuse to reread Plagueis before.
Yeah.
Before it comes out.
I can't wait to reread. That book was so good. I'm just gonna check that out again.
And then we got our actress too, Amandla Stenberg.
Yeah, it's finally confirmed. I know it's been kind of
officially confirmed as the Acolyte, as the lead in the Acolyte, which this is going to be great. I mean, I cannot wait. I think she was just in Bodies. I think she's in a few films that I'll be watching this weekend, so I'm excited to see what her performances are like before she jumps into this. But this is cool. I cannot wait, and I feel like it's going to be she must be an Acolyte. She must be the Acolyte. And then I wonder if it's Plagueis. I wonder if it's Tenebrous. I wonder if it's another Sith Lord that's sort of that she learns from, or she's learning the Sith ways from, or something. But
I'd put hard money on Tenebrous.
Who knows if it's a Sith? It could just be a Force user. It could be someone who's a Force user. trying to claim stake or the throne of the Sith, but another Sith comes along, or you know what I mean? Like the movie could really do some fun red herrings, or the show, rather. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think it might be the rise of Plagueis, right? Like we've never actually seen a Sith take on the Sith Lord and dethrone a Sith Lord. We've never seen that. We see it referred to a lot, right? Like, I mean, I guess we technically do at the end of episode 6, but that's just Vader becoming good again. Right. But like to actually watch that process happen and see what happens in that rule of 2 when, you know, Plagueis takes down Tenebrous.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And it'd be, I mean, then like Stenberg's character, maybe that's our POV. And so we can, I mean, the Acolyte actually could be Plagueis. Well, but like our POV is like a different Acolyte and like what it's like sort of going through there. And then so you watch Plagueis be this monster and rise to his situation. Imagine
from a storyteller point what that happens. So you might tell a story where there's multiple Acolytes and you're following all these Acolyte characters and you have the Sith Lord and the Sith Apprentice. And the Acolytes are just doing the Acolyte thing, and then suddenly the Sith Lord is gone, and there's a power vacuum. So now you have all these Acolytes. It's all going to be like intrigue and who's trying to kill who and who's trying to prove they're a better Sith to be the next. That's
exactly what the show. I see that being the formula of the show, which is everyone's backstabbing. It's like a Gilligan-esque, Vince Gilligan-esque, like Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul, sort of like everyone is in a corner and willing to backstab the other just to get out of it. And I'm hoping that's the sort of hair-raising tension that the show's going for. I mean, who knows? The show could be whatever it wants to be, and I cannot wait to see it. But it's just, that would be a fun way to take it, given that the Sith are known to do that. They're known to backstab.
If there's many Acolytes, like, it would just be a feeding frenzy. I love that. And for some reason in my mind, I imagine a sort of like Sith Hogwarts, like just sort of like evil Hogwarts, where they're all sort of, it's like, you know, business as usual, people looking at each other out of the corner of their eyes. But then like,
are you saying we're just going to spend an entire season following House Slytherin?
Basically? Yeah, but it would be like House Slytherin's the best out of all four.
Well, like, I always
get worse and darker.
I like the idea of the Sith staying low key, so I wouldn't mind like Plagueis, like basically like counting his credits and then like, I guess masterminding all these plans and things like that. But then like seeing the potential of a young girl who's like in the galaxy and being like, oh, she has the Force, like I could teach her to use the Force, and it's like pre-Palpatine, but like all of the Palpatine stuff, he basically all the cunning and the sort of evil planning, he kind of passes on to her, but she maybe doesn't take on that stuff. Maybe she's good. Like I'm hoping maybe she's a good character who basically turns on him or something. Like that would be fun. But I could see that. And I could also see like an interloping sort of Sith who's staying low key and just like counting his credits and like playing the chessboard like tactically, like and then just taking on someone, you know, to follow him and learn his ways and all that kind of stuff. Like it's something small that travels around the galaxy, intimate. Like that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But you know, again, the show can surprise me. Lena Headey's a brilliant writer. I cannot wait to see what she does.
Agreed.
Yeah, she did say way early in the process that it would be a female like centric cast. There'd be it sounded like a bunch of female characters in it. So, I mean, I guess that could work against Tenebrous and Plagueis. Like, it would be sort of silly if they were the big bads. But
well, I mean, we had Zana after Bane taught Zana.
Yeah.
And she goes on, but then I think she dies in the last book. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something that the internet will probably freak out about. But Bane. based on
Bane trilogy.
Based on Plagueis and Tenebrous, we are basing their genders on old EU, as far as I know.
Yeah, yeah.
So they could.
I was thinking that too. Tenebrous could be female.
Tenebrous, it could be female.
Yeah. So they could just do that, which would be great. I mean, I know everyone's really taking that quite
well
in
all new character. Guys, wild idea here. All new character.
Yeah,
it's basically a Sith Lord between Plagueis and Tenebrous, or between Tenebrous and
the timeline's not clear.
Who cares? They don't exist. They're Legends characters. Before Palpatine is fair game for anything to be invented.
Yeah, Tenebrous could have come later. Like
Ben's like, no, I'm not letting go of Tenebrous.
Nor should you, because we all deserve a Sith bit.
Take whatever you want, but we're keeping the Sith.
He could have
Sith Lord who happens to be a Bith.
Yeah. 200 years is a long time, and I know that like Plagieus was supposed to be alive for a very long time, and I think Tenebrous was too because he sort of started him on it. But I don't know. We didn't hear Tenebrous's name in that recent book, Shadow of the Sith, chanted underneath. So maybe not. You know, like he could have, if he only lived for 50 years or something, then like he could have come much later. So it would be. I mean, I would be so happy if they just invented all new Sith characters. Like that would make me overjoyed. Just because there's not enough. Like let's get some new names and like new dynamic characters, like evil characters. That'd be so fun.
Well, Darth Plagueis makes sense given like he's named in Revenge of the Sith, and like it's just a total like hole in the entire story that kind of would be fun to see content, see storytelling in there.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think they're really, I don't know, they're really saving that one for someone with a plan or a script or something. Like sooner or later we'll get a Plagueis story, but they seem to be really careful about not stepping on that story at all. And all the other comics and books and everything, you don't hear much Plagueis stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that and Bane are kind of both like do not touch.
Sacred cows, yeah.
Red.
All right, why don't we talk about Halcyon Legacy? Meow, 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 meow.
Kyber Crystal Comics Corner.
Welcome to another edition of Kyber Crystal Comics Corner. And this week we're going to cover the Halcyon Legacy miniseries. We'll talk about the official tie-in, I'm sure. But this is brought to you by Sachs, Sliney, Rosenberg, Sabino, and Gist. I'm not quite sure.
Right on. Yeah. And Adam, what is the Halcyon Legacy for people at home that don't know?
The Halcyon Legacy is the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser hotel experience at Disney World Orlando.
And we need some all new reoccurring characters in these comics, right? And do they appear on the actual Halcyon Legacy, or are they just comic exclusive characters?
Well, that's a great question, Grant. Yes,
but we have Captain Keevan.
Yes, Captain Keevan is
Pantoran.
on. Yeah, who's
Pantoran
on?
female.
Yeah, she is on the Galactic Star Cruiser. If you do
really, so is she talking over the loudspeaker throughout?
She is played by a live action person. So she actually will greet you. As far as I know, will greet you, and you'll interact with her throughout your stay. Yeah, it's not animatronic. I don't know about Crimson Jack because I don't think so. Because I think
because who could have that facial hair? It's
all right.
Just the flex is unreal.
Because spoiler alert, you are boarded during your 2-day stay, but you're boarded by Kylo Ren in the First Order. Probably after the events of this miniseries. Probably ties into.
Yeah, that's right. The last issue.
So I guess one quick kind of background note. We like way back when we covered, Ethan Sachs also wrote Doc Ondor's Den of Antiquities, or
he read Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. He did Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It was fantastic. There's the Greedo one where like
did he write the book? There was the book for Galaxy's Edge, but then there was Doc Ondor.
There's a 5-part series.
Yeah, and that is Doc Ondor's.
It is Doc Ondor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it does take place in Galaxy's Edge, and then there is Black Spire.
Black Spire, right?
Which the book is that Rosenberg. I'm gonna blank on who wrote that. But actually, both of those are really good. The Black Spire book we actually really enjoyed. I was shocked.
Delilah S. Dawson for Black
Yes,
Spire?
It's Delilah S. Dawson. Thank you, Grant. Yep, 100%.
So good. We love them. We love,
by the way,
the sense of space in that book was great. You really understood the part. Adam, having been to the park, did Black Spire kind of nail that? The space?
No. And well, because here's the thing. Delilah S. Awesome did an amazing job. But what she was able to do was talk about the outlying areas surrounding Black Spire. If you remember, a lot of the book takes place in like a cave where they're hiding out.
Yeah.
And so it gives us this scope and grandeur. And the one thing I'll be completely honest, as a person who really loved Galaxy's Edge and can't wait to go back, I was never able to completely escape the fact that I was in Disney Hollywood Studios. Right, like it feels a little contained.
The book was great because it makes you feel like you're you part of a run into the wilderness from Black Spire Outpost, and you could basically pitch a tent and kind of like live there. Like it really felt the environment in that book. Highly recommend Black Spire by Twilight.
Awesome. Is why that book works, because it makes it feel like part of a larger thing. I'm so glad I read it. Like it gave me a lot. Like V. Morandi, I think is the name of the character in that, is the character who you're seeing play out
by Morandi, and then we have isn't Cardinal in that too or something?
I can't remember if it's
in that.
Cardinal. No.
Well, Savvy is in there from Savvy's Lightsaber Workshop.
Savvy's in there.
Yeah.
I think a couple other I think Doc Ondor's there.
Yep. I believe so. Yeah, they interact with all these kind of characters.
So, as for this comic, do you think is it as happening on the Halcyon as it's happening in this comic? Like there is constant interactions. There's huts rolling through. I don't know.
So essentially,
Halcyon's
we get one current time narrative, which I guess your experience at Halcyon pretty much occurs right before the, I think the events of Rise of Skywalker, or I guess right before The Last Jedi, because, actually you would know, Adam, when does your experience in Galaxy's Edge happen?
It's between 8 and 9. So it's between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's cool. Cause there is a year gap there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I assume that's when Halcyon Legacy is going to be taking place.
It is because when you are on the Halcyon Legacy, you do dock at Black Spire and spend a day in Black Spire. So if you think about it, this whole narrative, there's a single narrative in Black Spire or Galaxy's Edge, I should say, that occurs over the full day. Mm-hmm. And so that is a narrative that repeats every single day. And then there's a narrative on the Halcyon Legacy. So basically, those two are intertwined. So they all probably take place within a 3-day window, I think. So that's between episodes 8 and 9.
Man, what an experience!
These comics are fantastic. I just want to say right away, Halcyon Legacy, this series is great because I was just thinking about it as a whole. It's a lot of just epic stuff happening, but the catharsis I have with Aura Singh and Zam Wessel, sort of living on peacefully after their altercation on the Halcyon, that is so cool. Great. I just those cool characters interacting
till she gets smoked by Lando Calrissian, right?
I mean, there's a statement, I think, by the droid who says, and Aura Singh and Zam Wessel went on to live happily ever after. No, wait. I now recall they both went on to die in grisly manners.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's my favorite line in this thing. And I want to say that about Ethan Sachs and tie it back into his Doc Ondor story. He does a really good job of telling one-shots, meaning a single self-contained story in a single issue in a comic, which, yes, there's the overarching narrative, but those are kind of both a couple of pages at the beginning, a couple of pages at the end, and the other 18 pages in the middle are just a single story. And that can be really difficult with that constraint to be able to tell a full story in just 18 pages.
So for listeners that haven't read this, the whole idea is you have your main narrative at that time, of the current time Halcyon, so between movies 8 and 9, and then you have and you're about to get boarded, and it's this droid telling stories to this young girl, trying to calm her down about other times that this ancient ship has been boarded or had some altercations on it. And so you get these flashback stories intermixed within this larger narrative. So definitely done. It's an interesting thing. And they go all the way back to the High Republic, which is really cool. And then, really fun character pulls, which, was done in the Doc Ondor series as well. They use Greedo and Han and all that stuff in there. And this one's got Boss.
And again, the Will Sliney's art, 4, the Lando Maz one, Lando's drip is unparalleled. This is, I think, the best I've ever seen Lando look in a comic.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
And Maz looks amazing.
Yeah.
Will Sliney is just super talented.
Agreed. And I mean, if we talk about, the first issue, we're dealing with the High Republic, and you get Buryaga Agaberry. Which I was very excited. My favorite, whose fate we still do not know.
I know. Can't believe she threw him in a fighter, jet or a fighter starfighter, and was I'm wait, no, I want to see Buryaga messing people up.
I know, right?
Hand, but all right. I guess it's not really his thing. I for someone that empathizes as much as he does, it's probably hard to cut someone in half with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Though also Nib Assek in that one, his master. Great to see some more Nib Assek. She ignited her lightsaber and then went into a fight and then just punched and kicked everybody.
Yep.
I was like, but yeah. I was like, she's really taking the whole do no harm pacifist Jedi thing to another level. But yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, it makes me think about Obi-Wan just sort of like knee-jerk cutting off someone's arm and just being
yeah. They fell a long way, the order did. Like, you know what? Maybe we should go on the offensive.
We also we spent some time with the person who oversaw the creation of the Halcyon Legacy.
Yes.
One Shug Drabar. Drobar.
Drobar.
Yeah.
And he is, what's the name of that species?
And Zelen, I think.
And Zelen, right? So he's just like our boy from the Rise of the Rise
Babu Frick.
Babu Frick.
Yeah, which again I always forget he pops up at the end of Rise of Skywalker, literally, and then we were both like watching that movie last night. Went, oh yeah, Babu Frick.
He made it into a book as well.
Right.
One of the High Republic books. And it is escaping me right now which book that is.
There were a lot of them. They were all good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good. It was one of the younger readers. Anywho, a lot of fun characters in this.
Yeah.
Who's your let's go. Who's your favorite cameo in this series?
Oof. Like
I mean, I gotta say, I guess I gotta go Maz. Maz is my favorite.
Maz is good. I'm always happy to see Aura Singh. I'm gonna not say Buryaga because like we already talked about him.
Yeah.
But like seeing Aura Singh and actually, you know what, Sam Wessel, I think.
Sam Wessel, yeah, that was
Sam Wessel was
so
the
little
best
of them
for me because it was so cathartic. I was like, more Sam. Again, talking about character development, like a little bit more Sam Wessel out of nowhere in this series. All worth it to read through.
Yeah. What about you, Ben?
Obviously,
you're not allowed to say Hondo. You're not allowed to say Hondo.
I'm not a Hondo guy. I don't know.
Neither, guys. Can we all just come out about this?
I think we're all
not Hondo guys.
No, I will say, I'm a bit more of a Hondo guy after doing the Rise of the Resistance ride at Galaxy's Edge because the animatronic Hondo is it's the Millennium Falcon ride, sorry. But the Hondo Inaka animatronic is amazing when it's working.
Right, when it's working. Otherwise it's just
but favorite character for me is probably D309.
I mean that's pretty the droid storyteller is amazing.
Yeah, he makes it work.
What was your favorite cameo, Ben?
Oh, obviously Tianga. That's my favorite.
Oh, I thought Lando. I thought it was like easy Lando. I was like, I can't go with Lando because you're gonna take him. But okay,
no,
I guess Lando for me then. If I was like Maz Lando. Maz Lando.
Lando's I'm in that frame of mind where I can't get enough Lando. Like more.
I agree. Yeah. And again, I know I'm talking a lot about having watched the last hour of Rise of Skywalker, but he is so good. He is so good in that movie, and Billy Dee did such a great job with Lando.
He really carried the end of that movie.
He really does. Like, there's more of us, Poe. Is like, there's more of us. Is like, I listen to that line and I get choked up every time, and I realize it's because of the way he says that. Like, he just because he says it with that swagger, right? Of just
His pep talk of Oscar Isaac was one of my favorite parts of that movie. It could have been my favorite. That was because it was just like, everyone was so down, and he's just like such a warm actor, and it was just like a beautiful scene, and Poe needed it, and like it was just great. I loved that. I love that scene.
Yeah.
I'd love more Billy Dee, honestly.
And after Shadow of the Sith, in that book, I really like Rise of Skywalker. Like it's elevated that film for me in a big way.
Yeah.
Well, there's a scene at the very end, which I saw it the first few times with Jana, saying like, well, let's find out, kid. It always felt to me like I was always joking, like, well, there's our Disney Plus series, right? It felt very, but after reading Shadow,
I was ready because I was like, Billy Dee looks like he could act a full series. Let's go.
But it was amazing seeing that scene after Shadow of the Sith, and just the way, he was written in that actually made me somewhat choked up. Like knowing his history, knowing his journey, trying to find her,
and then all those more years, and the way he acted it was like he was like, I'm not gonna get excited right now.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Yep,
I'm not gonna get my hopes up. But you know what? Like I felt like he's like, here's someone that's like my daughter though. That
you are a lost child looking for their parents. Like I will help you. It's all I can do at this point. It was. I'm gonna start crying now, but it was actually really like adding. That's what I love about Star Wars. That's why we do what we do. Is just all of these ancillary things add such beautiful notes when you go back to rewatch the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. It's
a Halcyon Legacy.
Halcyon Legacy. Anyways. Fun ship. Looks like a good time. Super expensive. But like, you know, for what it is, which is sort of like, well, it's some tie-in material to this really expensive, you know, hotel experience that Disney has created. It was very fun content and a good ride.
Yeah.
You guys want to play a game?
Ooh. Yes, I forgot.
So did I, but we'll play one anyways.
There we go.
Look, good against remotes is one thing. Good against the living, that's something else.
Okay, so here we go. This is Game of the Week, also known as Good Against Remotes, is one thing. And so I'm going to host the Game of the Week this week. And the game is Who Shot That Blaster?
Oh, no. Oh, wow. God.
All right, so I'm going to name a blaster, and you're going to tell me who wielded said.
Please be DL44. Please be a DL44. Go ahead.
Don't say DL44 first.
I'm going to go in easy to more difficult.
All right.
I'm not sure how many rounds yet. We'll see how pathetic this is. But the first one is the DL44 plastic.
I'll let Adam take that.
I mean, the fact that you said it before I did it.
I'm just gonna let it.
Wait,
it's the Blastech DL44.
Do we see? And here's a trick question: do we see Tobias Beckett shoot
Wait,
it in
did
Solo?
Tobias Beckett shoot it? No, we didn't.
Never saw him shoot it. He did hand it to the person in question. But no, Tobias Beckett.
What about in the Beckett standalone issue?
Oh, yeah, good question, Grant.
I would like to call forth evidence.
I still don't think so.
And I will say Beckett for my answer.
Okay, all right. I'll give you a half a point. But
I need to check those pages.
Adam, I didn't hear your answer, but I
said Han Solo or Han Solo.
Oh, you can. They both work apparently.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you a point there, Adam, and then and you get a half point, Grant, until you can prove to me that Tobias Beckett held one of those, or actually shot one. All right. Very good. See, we're off to a good start.
Okay.
So the next one that I really want to let you know, the E11 blaster rifle.
I got it. Stormtrooper.
That's correct.
That's correct. Yes, I would
Luke
have gotten
and Leia
that one,
also count.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh man.
Who shoot it first on screen? Is that the?
No, it's just who shot it. These are going to get
possible multiple answers. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, I kind of want to go. This is because it's one of my favorites. The DH-17 blaster pistol, and you can be general here if you want.
Is that Jango Fett?
Is it Clone Troopers?
DH really good answer, Adam, but no.
Okay.
Oh, I love this. This is a great game.
DH-17 blaster pistol. It's also made by Blastech.
Also made by Blastech. Oh, if it's made of Blastech, I mean, is it Rebel Troopers?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
By Rebel Troopers, yes.
Right.
Okay.
The Blastech, I was like, it's got to be.
Nice, Adam. That was a broad category. It was like
I know.
The entire rebellion.
I was gonna start narrowing.
Rebel Alliance.
It's like it's in like A New Hope when they're
Adam.
setting up, they're all holding DH-17s for the hallway scene. So that's very good. Listen, we got correct answers on all of these, which is something. Okay, I think I'm gonna go. This is one of my favorites, and it's a deeper cut, but you've seen it. This is the Defender Sporting Blaster Pistol.
Is it? See, I know.
Manufactured by the Drarian Defense Conglomerate.
Okay.
Capable of firing 100 shots on a single charge and was effective up to 30 to 60 meters.
Wait, can I get the designation again?
It is simply known as the Defender Sporting Blaster Pistol.
Defender Sporting Blaster Pistol. Sporting. I see. I know I think there's one you're gonna name, but I don't want to just shot in the dark it. No pun intended.
Tarkin.
I like Tarkin. I like sporting. Is it? And I know it's not going to be this, and it's going to be something later, so it might just be my answer now until it is it. Is it Amidala? Is it Amidala? Is it Queen Princess Amidala?
Ooh, really close, Adam. She has a different blaster.
All right.
But really close.
Is it Leia?
Yes, sir. It is Leia's.
Oh, good. Nice. All right.
Since you mentioned it, and I'm not going to say it probably.
Yeah. What is the name of that blaster?
I've got it right here. Stand by. I had it right here. Oh, there it is. That is the Sorasub ELG-3A blaster.
All right.
But it's a really similar design.
They kind of look, I know they look similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very similar, but it's a precursor.
Good call on Leia. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we? All right. Now we're in the rabbit hole here. Going through all of it. So, what about these are more personal weapons? The EE3 blaster carbine rifle.
Oh! Is that Boba Fett?
Boba Fett.
That is Boba Fett. Adam, you're secretly pretty good.
Weirdly, I think it's just through osmosis from you for years.
I have been mumbling about blasters for a long time.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm gonna get harder then.
Please,
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. How about the MWC 35C staccato lightning repeating cannon? There's a couple answers to this one.
Interesting. Is that like a clone ARC trooper?
No, sir.
Staccato lightning. I have no idea. Is it?
It's
Bosk?
A cannon. It's a cannon.
Is it Bosk? I feel like it's got to be one of the.
Oh yeah, Bosk. That's a really deep cut, and it's still up for debate. So I'm not really willing to in the Battlefront games.
Oh, okay.
He shoots.
Is it on a super battle droid and droidica? Is it like the cannon itself?
It is the cannon itself, but it is not on super battle droids.
Oh, is it on B1 battle droids?
No, not on B1.
Oh, not B1. Yeah.
Is it on those tanks, those droid tanks?
Yes, Grant.
Like the long snoot.
All right.
They
That's
are
impressive.
they are
tank.
This is well, I mean, I'll give it to you, Grant, because you're close enough. You said tank. This is the blaster cannon that Baze Malbus pulled off a tank and started using.
I don't get credit on that. No way I got that. I was thinking it was during the Battle of Geonosis. I was all over the place.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a tough one. You guys were too good, so I had to.
I'm glad. I appreciate that. See, once again, it's my Skywalker trilogy bias showing. I stopped even thinking about. Yeah, totally.
Of course it's Baze. He's a giant cannon. He walks around with a giant cannon. What was I thinking?
Yeah. Who else had him? Yeah, a cannon.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
This one is a personal favorite of mine. Could be tougher. This is the SE 14C blaster pistol.
Jango Fett.
No, sir.
I like the confidence though in that.
I'm constantly with Jango Fett. I know those
blaster pistol. Is it Lando?
No.
Okay.
This is
an Imperial officer's pistol.
Yes, sir.
Well done.
Officer's pistol. And we see it. We see it used here and there. I think actually we saw it in Obi-Wan Kenobi. We saw Tera.
See, sorry. I'm mad at myself having played and watched you play Battlefront so many times.
Yeah.
A lot of these are in there.
Yeah.
But
I really have a sense of memory just talking about that pistol while we're playing the game.
Because it's just so cool that so much love and care goes into designing these things, and then they give them names, and then they give them people who design them. And I just think that's really pretty cool.
It really is. It's really amazing to think about.
Okay, so here's one. This one's called the DC-15A Blaster.
I'm just going to be naming things. Go back again. Lando? Because I'm gonna keep saying Lando.
Lando's blaster. That's another one where it's like in the game he's consistent, but they kind of messed with it a little bit. It's not really assigned, I think.
Grant, do you have any guesses before we ask for a little more?
I think that's
It's a blaster rifle, I should say. The DC.
That's the resistance rifle, right?
Ooh, no, it's not.
Is it First Order?
No. DC-15A blaster rifle.
Dead air.
DC. I feel like, is this a Battlefront? Can we just narrow it slightly?
It is definitely in Battlefront. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to think like who we haven't mentioned or what we haven't talked about.
You might have talked about it already.
Oh, is it a clone trooper? Have we even talked about it? Have we narrowed it down?
Is it a clone rifle?
It is. That is standard issue clone rifle.
I went early on clone
designated
troopers and I forgot about rifle.
It. Yeah. Designated clone. Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think is that the one? All right, maybe should I just do one more for all the marbles here?
Sure.
Let's go.
It's got to be a hard one.
Jango Fett.
Okay.
Yeah,
actually, I don't know what he uses actually. Is that what's this one right here? I don't think that's it. I had one in my mind, but now I can't
find it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the NN-14 blaster pistol. And there's two answers to this technically. If there's two answers to DL-44.
Okay. Interesting.
NN-14.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any typing, Adam.
Thinking. What? No typing's happening. I was just looking up Jango's pistol, which is a West Star 34.
The West Star 34, sure. That's a good one.
But this is the NN-14.
And there's technically two answers.
And it could be any time, like any saga, really.
I know lightsaber hilts. I just don't know blasters really that well. Let me think here.
Any saga. So I'm trying to think of like characters.
NN. Blaster pistol. Is this a Padme pistol?
No.
I feel like I'm so close to like all these clues.
Walks away from computer.
Yeah.
Blaster pistol. Who wields a
All right.
Is it a character
sequel trilogy? I'm gonna
sequel trilogy. Poe Dameron uses an NN.
No.
And Finn.
I like that.
Finn uses the NN.
Is it Finn?
Finn uses a Glee, which that actually.
That's
pretty good too. They both. That's the officer's pistol. Those are pretty great.
So I'm gonna get it from process of elimination now. I think is it Rey's pistol? Is it the one that she gets from Han?
That Han Solo gives her. That's right.
That was just because of the that's because of the sequel trilogy. And literally, you named all the other main sequel trilogy characters. So I was just like, oh wait, that's right. I do love that scene.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's such a weird design. It
it's got that like box in the middle, right, or something.
She's always like holding like or riding things that look like freezer pops. You know,
it's true.
And it looks like that as well. Grant. The other one I wanted to do was the EL-16 HFV blaster rifle. And that also blast tech, but that was that was standard issue resistance blaster, which is a beast in Battlefront.
Nice.
They also had one.
I saw it in the Andor trailer, and I was like, "Oh, I know Ben's excited about this."
Yeah. If any of you can name who wielded the DT-57 heavy blaster pistol, actually two people wielded it. You win the podcast for life.
What's its it's not gonna matter. What's its designation again? And
this is also blast tech, and it was used in the Clone Wars.
Blast Tech used in Clone Wars.
The nickname was the Annihilator.
The Annihilator. I have no idea. It's not the one that. It's not the Obi-Wan. It's not the one that Obi-Wan kills Grievous with, is it?
It is.
Okay.
Is it? Oh.
It is. It's technically Grievous's blaster, but it's like no one like ever think like why did Grievous have a blaster, by the way? Right?
So the reason I'd been thinking about that scene the entire time we've been playing this game, but
that blaster.
But what's really funny is I assumed it was a clone trooper blaster because
I did too. Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know.
Onto his wheel thing.
That's
like
so
he
weird.
Just had a gun strapped onto that.
I swear there was no type. I did not Google that. That was just a shot in the dark.
You're just in a zone today.
What?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. This is like escaped
like?
my mind for the longest time. I did not realize this weapon is so storied and like its design is different from just a regular battle droid's rifle. Like it's like a snub nose kind of battle droid rifle.
Yeah, it's the Annihilator.
I think that also helped because it annihilated him. So when you said that too, I'm just like, well, it's accurately named.
Yeah, it did great work. Well, okay, Adam, I think you edged out Grant on that one. Great work. Yeah. Great work, both of you. Actually,
I am redeemed
really
after
a lot of correct answers.
Redeemed after our musical test 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was awful.
No, that was
really
impressive.
bad on that.
The DT-57 annihilate. Yeah, I was like, well, I didn't think you'd pull the Obi-Wan moment where he uses a blaster one time. I was like,
because it's advertised as Grievous's blaster.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But it's like, I mean, more famously used by Obi-Wan as being so uncivilized.
And the other reason is it's a classic scene. I feel like we had narrowed down. It was just
I did
the process
hint,
of elimination.
I gave you the trilogy too.
You gave me that. It was prequel trilogy. We had named most of the others. We knew it wasn't Jango Fett. We knew it wasn't Padme. There's not a ton of famous blasters in that film. And then the Annihilator, I think, is what tipped it over the edge because I'm like, what blaster? Oh yeah, he is annihilated by that thing. So.
That is so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well deserved victory right there.
Yeah. That
I will be hosting the game next week.
Yeah, you got
it. Always be a mystery box because that's what's fun.
Yeah, that's great. This will be like favorite pets of of droids. They'll be
like Better Call Saul, but you have to just wait, for our next game.
Yeah, exactly.
Take place.
Absolutely.
Tension's on.
Actually, next week I think we're going to talk about Tales of Jedi and the Sith. Correct?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah.
And, get hustling on that one.
Yeah, I've read some already. It's just great. Like they're real fun short stories. I'm a big fan of short stories, so I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to go through it. And one thing I learned about it is that it's told in chronological order, which I think is fun.
Oh,
they don't all tie it in, but it kind of goes from oldest to newest.
Yeah, that was that thing that one of the things I picked up from Meg Dowell's Now This Is Lit podcast with Roseanne Brown. Yeah, Roseanne Brown was a little bit surprised that she was last.
Yeah,
and be the final thing, and she was like, "Oh gosh, like I would have written it maybe differently, if I'd known I was going to be the cleanup hitter here." But yeah.
So I'm excited to read it after that. Listen to that interview. That was such a fun, interesting interview, and so I'm sure we'll tie that into our discussion next week.
Yeah, it'll be great. All right, guys. Well, great to see you. Thanks everyone for listening to us again this week, and we'll talk to you next week. May the Force be with you.
This is Grex Kondak signing off. For the latest breaking news, follow @CoreWorldNews on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, and good night.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.